Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So I have been getting multiple requests to create one more video on the WebLogic Node Manager utility, by explaining few important parameters, configurations and configuration files. Okay, so I am creating this short video where I am going to explain all the important properties, important configurations that you need specifically to work in a professional environment. Okay, it is not specifically from theoretical perspectives, it is from the implementation perspectives. What are the things that we actually configured in the real-time environment? Okay, so now what exactly is the node manager? Okay, if you are not aware about that one, it is an utility that we use to start, stop or auto restart the managed servers. Okay, so it is an independent utility, and why we call it as an independent? Because it has no role with the applications that we deploy on the WebLogic managed servers. That means if you are running the node manager and if your service of the node manager get crash, it is not running. Okay, there is no impact on the application or the resources that you have configured in the domain. Okay, it will work as it is. There is no problem with that one. The only thing is that whatever the benefit that we get with the help of node manager, that benefit we are not able to get because your node manager is down. Okay, so we'll understand what are the different kind of benefits that we get with the help of node managers, which will be impacted if your node manager is going to be down in the real-time environment. So as I said, there is no impact on the application. This is completely an independent utility, even though it is shipped with the WebLogic server. Okay, but it is completely an independent. And why we call it independent, I have explained to you, because there wouldn't be any impact on your applications or the resources that you have configured in your WebLogic domain. Right. So now this node manager we use to start, stop or auto restart the servers. And whenever you go for to check for the definitions on the internet, you will see that WebLogic node manager is used to start the WebLogic server remotely. Okay, remotely in the sense if you have the horizontal clustering is configured where you have my managed servers are scattered across the different physical servers or the virtual machines, then your node manager can start, okay, each and every managed servers when the command initiated from the admin console. Okay, so now auto restart means if any of your server get crash, any of the managed server get crash due to any reasons, your node manager automatically restart it. And for automatically restart, we have a different kind of a configurations that we can do. Okay, that I will explain and show you here as well. Right. Now, one important thing here, when we say that we use a node manager to start, stop the managed servers. So whenever you go to start, stop your managed servers from the admin console, okay, it always look for the node manager. Okay, irrespective of where this managed server exists. Okay, so this particular managed server could be on the same machine where you have the admin server, or this managed server could be on the separate machine, right, in the horizontal clustering. So irrespective of the location where actually we have the managed servers, okay, whenever you start the managed server from the admin console, it always look for the node manager. So that means your node manager should be up and running if you are going to restart or start any of the server from the console. And this configuration we can see from the machines configuration, right? Inside the environment we have a machines and we configure the machines here. So machine is the logical representation of the virtual machine or the server where actual our WebLogic server instances or servers are running. Okay, so this is a logical entity we create, and inside this logical entity we configure the node manager. Right, so this is the node manager default configuration. If you see here, okay, the listen address where exactly it is running, the type of what kind of a type of your node manager, if it is a plain SSH, we have a different kind of a node manager. So mostly in the production environment you will see either SSL or plain. SSL, if you have configured the secure communication internally with the admin server or between the managed servers, then it is SSL, otherwise it is plain. Okay, that means be a plain communication. So this plain wouldn't be a problem in your environment because most of the time your WebLogic servers are inside your private network. Okay, so plain or SSL both are fine. Again, depend on your organization requirements. Right. So if I show you the status of my node manager as of now, it is reachable. Right. If I click on the monitoring and node manager status, it is reachable. Okay, this is the version of the node manager. So if I go to start my managed server from the console here, okay, it will take the command and it is going to start the servers. For example, let me go to control and let me start the first managed server. You can see the command has been taken, okay, and task is in progress. So if I go to servers, I refresh the screen, you can see the status is in starting state. Right. Now if you suppose that your node manager is not running, okay, and if you are going to start the managed server from the console, then it is going to give you an error. Okay, because the node manager is not available. And let me show you this as well. So what does it mean? What I'm trying to explain you here. Whenever we start the node manager from the admin console, your node manager always should be up and running. If it is not running, then you are not able to start your managed servers from the consoles. Okay. So now see here, the managed server is up and running, which I have started from the console. So now if I go to in the background, okay, and if I kill the process of the node manager, I have killed the process of node manager. So now if I go to console and show you the status inside the machine, and then machine name, and then monitoring. Okay, so here it is not able to reach to the node manager because it is down, so the status is inactive, right? So that means node manager is not running. Now if I go to servers and if I try to start my any of the server with the help of admin console, which always look for the node manager, it is going to give an error. Start. Okay, so now you can see for server the node manager associated with the machine is not reachable. Okay, so that means we always need the node manager irrespective of the server which is running on the same virtual machine or server where you have admin server, or the remote machine in case of a horizontal clustering if it is running on some different servers, right? So this is the first learning. Node manager is an independent utility. Why we call it an independent? And to stop the the managed servers from the admin console, you always need the node manager. Now apart from that, it has a functionality, or you can say the feature, that it automatically restart your servers if any of the server get crashed. Okay, now how it works, where are the different kind of a configurations? So let me show you along with that few more configurations. So if you go to console, okay, and then click on your manage servers, so three important tabs where you have a multiple configurations. Important configurations that you can do is inside the configurations. The first is the overload state, second is the health monitoring, and third is the server start. There are important role of all these three tabs specifically in your live environments. Okay, so what exactly is the health monitoring? Let me show you. So if I go to health monitoring, we have few important parameters here. The first is the health check interval. Okay, so WebLogic servers internally check the health of the subsystem that is configured in the particular server. Okay, and it then change the status of the system, okay, based on the health status of the resources that you have deployed. Okay, so that means it is a feature where your servers automatically check the health of each and every subsystem inside the WebLogic. So this is the interval. So it is 180, that means it is around 3 minutes. So that means in every 3 minutes your WebLogic is going to check the internal health of your resources that has been deployed, or the internal subsystem of the WebLogic. Okay, now along with that you have options like auto restart. You can see here this auto restart is specifically applicable when you are using the node manager to start your managed servers. Okay, so what we have learned so far, when we are starting the managed server from the console, we always need the node manager. Okay, but along with that we have some standard script that is provided by the Oracle. Okay, that is inside the bin. So for example, this is the domain, and if I go inside the bin, okay, we have the start, manage, weblogic.sh and cmd for Windows, right? We can start the managed server with the help of these scripts as well. So when we go to start the managed server with the help of these scripts, okay, then there is no role of node manager. Even your node manager is not down, okay, you can start your servers with the help of these particular scripts. Start node manager, WebLogic. Okay, but make sure when you are in a live or production environment, there is a standard techniques or the standard configuration that has been done in your environment from the beginning when the environment was prepared. Okay, for example, if you have always using the node manager or to start your servers, that means you always start from the admin console, then there are a lot of configurations that you do from the WebLogic console, which will not reflect if you are going to use the scripts. Okay, so in every organization there is standard techniques. Okay, so you have to make sure if you are always starting your managed server from the console, then do that. Okay, otherwise there are multiple JVM configurations that is not going to be uploaded or reflected in your JVM, and why I am going to explain you here as well. Okay, so this is the important parameters. So auto restart, as I said, it is applicable when you are starting the managed server with the help of node manager. It is automatically check here, right? And then you have the max restart within interval, restart interval, and then restart delay seconds. Okay, so now what is the meaning? Max restart within interval, and interval is given here, which is 3600 seconds, that means 1 hour. Okay, so max restart means for how many times your node manager automatically going to restart your servers. There could be a possible that there is some serious problem in the managed servers and it is going to crash every time it is going to be restarted, and that need to be fixed before it get restarted, right? So in that situation we can define the maximum restart, okay, and with the interval. So interval here is 1 hour, so that means by default within an interval of 1 hour your managed server will be restarted automatically 2 times. That means if in an interval of 1 hour your server crashed 2 times, then your node manager is automatically going to restart it. But if it is going more than more than 2 times within 1 hour of interval, then it will be silent. There wouldn't be any action by the node manager for next till the next interval, right? So once the first 1 hour is passed and the second hour is started, after that again it is going to restart for two times in a particular 1 hour of interval, right? So this is the maximum restart. So you can increase this as well if you would like to have a 3 times or 4 times or maybe more than 4 times within in 1 hour of interval. You can change it. If you would like to change the interval, then you can change the interval here. Restart delay second is for how long it is going to wait when it is going to restart the servers. So for example we have given 2. So if your server is crashed and it is your node manager restarted the server, and if again your server is get crashed, so maybe you would like to provide certain kind of a interval between before it restart the server again. So by default is 0. You can specify at least 5 to 10 seconds so that your server can wait for 5 to 10 seconds before making another attempt, okay, and to allow to clean up of the processes properly. Okay, so these are the very important parameters specifically related to a node manager, and all these parameters are saved in the startup.properties file. Okay, and where is the startup.properties file? So let me show you. You can go here inside the domain. You will have a servers folder for each and every server that you have in your domain. Go to your server, then go to your data folder. Inside the data folder you will have a folder called node manager, and here we have few important configuration files with respect to all this configuration. So boot.properties, this contains the username and password which node manager is used to start your servers, correct? And then startup.properties. So startup.properties contain the few important parameters here. You can see this is the restart max which we have seen here, which is 2, right? And then restart delay second we have that 0 here, and then restart interval we have the 3600 second which is 1 hour. Okay, and then you have a certain configurations for the log files rotation, how many files it should retain, rotation by the size, what would be the size when the file will get rotated. Okay, and then the admin URL to which your node manager is going to be connected, because every time you are going to start your managed servers, it is going to contact your admin server is going to contact the node manager, right? So what does it mean? Let me quickly show you this as well. So you have the admin server. Your admin server always contact your node manager for any kind of operations with respect to the managed servers, and then simple your node manager give the command to the managed server. This is a simple flow, right? So that means whenever you are giving any command from the node manager, okay, so your admin server always reaching your managed server with the help of node manager. So if you have two node cluster where you have a second cluster is on separate machine, so there you have to make sure your node manager is up and running. If it is not running, then your admin server will not able to contact and you can't able to do any kind of operations in that particular machine. Okay, so this is the one of the important configuration files that I have shown to you, startup.properties. Okay, which contain the specific parameters with respect to your node manager. Now along with that you have a overload tab. So overload tab, we have one important configurations here that I would like to show you here. Failure action. Okay, for example, in case of any some critical subsystems, it not responding in your managed servers. Okay, where some of the functionalities are impacted and you really want to restart your server. So for such kind of conditions, what you can do, instead of a manual intervention, you can update or configure the failure action, which is by default ignore node take section. You can force immediate shutdown of the server. Okay, so what will happen in that case if any of the critical subsystem get failed in your managed servers, okay, so your server is automatically going to be shut down. And what is the benefit of that? If your server is going to be shut down in that situation, then your node manager will automatically restart the server. That is one of the benefit of your node manager, and this is the corresponding configuration that you can enable here, right? because if any of the critical subsystem impacted where some of the functionalities are impacted is not working, then definitely you need to restart the server. So to avoid any manual intervention, you can configure force immediate shutdown here, okay, and it will restart the server with the help of this function which we have auto restart is enabled here, right? And then we have a panic option option as there, okay, so which is exit the process. So that means it will automatically, for example, if you are getting some critical exceptions like out of memory errors or some other kind of a related exceptions, okay, which may hang your application, where your application may not be responding, in such situation you can also exit the server process. This is one of the option on top of this failure action. Okay, so in that situation again your server is going to be exit the server process, and then it is going to automatically restart by the node manager. Okay, so this is another important configurations, and apart from that you have a server start tab, and here we have an important field which is called the arguments. So inside the server start we specify multiple JVM arguments, okay, and these arguments are specifically applicable when you are starting the servers with the help of node manager. Why? If you see here, node manager is a WebLogic server utility that you can use to start, suspend, shut down the servers. Okay, use this page to configure the startup settings. The node manager will use the start this server to a remote machine, and that's the reason I told you be careful when you are going to start your servers. Okay, it's not like that we have the some scripts inside the bin directory, so you can start either from the script or maybe you can either start from the admin console. It depends on what is the practices that you are using in your environment, because if you have always starting from the admin console and then inside the server start you have specified multiple arguments here, JVM arguments here, okay, then these JVM arguments are going to be reflected only when you are going to start your managed server from the console, right? But if you start your managed server anytime with the help of this particular script by skipping the console, then whatever the parameter that you have specified here, it is not going to be reflected in your JVM. That would be a very big problem. Okay, so that's why I always make sure that before starting the servers, you have to ensure that what is the best practices that is going to be followed in your organization for your environment, and based on that, you can take a call from where you are going to start the servers. Okay, so this is overload and then health monitoring and then server start. So now apart from that one, uh, we have one more important configuration file which is called the node manager.properties file, and which is inside the node manager home. Now what is node manager home? So node manager home is a directory with the name of node manager which is inside your domain. So this is my domain. Okay, inside domain there is a folder node manager, and inside the node manager we have the node manager.properties file. So this file contains the multiple important parameters. The first is the node manager.domains. This is a file which is again inside the same node manager home. This contains only the reference of the domain. So this shows that this node manager can control which particular domain. Okay, so apart from that you have some other important configuration. So this is the node manager home which I am talking about, which Java it is going to be used. What is the default log level for node manager, which is info. If you would like to debug, enable the debug for your node manager, you can enable the debug here. And apart from that, few important configurations like what is the listen address for your node manager, what is the listen port for your node manager. If you would like to change the listen port, you can change it from here. Okay, secure listener equal to true. So this is the parameter which specify if your SSL is enabled or not for your node manager. So by default, secure listener equal to true. That means the SSL is configured. That means by default the demo identity and certificate is enabled for your node manager, and which I can show you here as well. That means the status. So you can go to monitoring. Okay, so as I show you, there is a different type of node manager. So it is inactive. So let me first start it. Okay, so once it is started, then it can be visible on your console here. The status of the node manager will be reachable. Okay, and here if I go to the configurations and then node manager, so by default you can see this is SSL. Okay, and this is SSL, and the secure listener equal to true. Okay, so you have to make sure that is in sync. Okay, that means if your secure listener is true in the file, and by mistake if you change it to plain here, okay, then there is a difference, because the node manager properties file will say secure listener equal to true, and on the console it is plain. So you will not able to start your servers, or your node manager will not able to contact your particular port, or you can say the particular server in which the process is running, because your file says the secure listener equal to true, and in the console you have defined it as a plain, right? So now you can see it is inactive. Why? Because in the configuration I have changed it to plain, so it will not able to communicate. So if you want to change the non-SSL port, or the non-SSL communication, if you want to change, then you can do it plain here. Okay, and after plain here you have to change it in the properties file as well. So you have to make it here false, and this is specifically if you would like to disable the node manager for SSL, right? So I have changed it to the false, and then I need to restart the node manager. So now the node manager is going to be started in the non-SSL mode, non-secure mode, right? So now I have the type as plain in the console, and along with that in the secure listener properties file set as false. So now if I go and check the status, now it is reachable, correct? So again, in the reverse condition, if it is in the false state in the secure listener in the node manager properties file, and you are going to change it from here, you are going to change it for SSL. Okay, and this is again going to give you the error. You can see SSL exception. Why? Because from the console you have changed it to SSL, but in the file you have a false. So you can change it true here if you would like to go with the SSL, right? And now you can restart your node manager. Okay, and once it is restarted, now again it will be reachable. And now why it is reachable? Because again we have changed the configuration SSL from the console, and in the file we have defined it as true, right? So these are all the important configurations and the best practices that you have to follow in your environment. And hopefully this session is helpful for you. And if you would like to learn few other things with respect to the node manager, you can write in the comment, or you can send email to us on digitalk.fmw@gmail.com. Okay, we will create a session on that. Thank you.